I've been making a lot of videos recently about getting used gear or using the gear that you have, and unfortunately it looks like these ideas are going to become even more relevant than I thought. With the new tariffs that the United States has launched against dozens of countries, the filmmaking and photography industry is going to be and already is being affected. Camera prices, lens prices, and the price of other gear is going to be increased for residents of the United States like myself. And judging by some of the price increases that have already dropped over the last couple days, this is going to be pretty steep and painful potentially. Blackmagic Design, famous for their pocket cameras, their Ursa line, and the Pyxis line, announced a 32% price increase on their newly announced Pyxis 12K camera. It was originally priced at $4,995 US, but after the new tariffs took effect, the price instantly jumped to $6,595. That's pretty freaking shocking. Other Blackmagic cameras have also gone up in price as well. The Pocket 6K G2 went from $1,995 to $2,635, and even the Pocket 4K jumped from $995 to $1,315. This tracks all the way up to the absolutely insane Ursa Pro 17K that originally was priced at $29,995 and is now $32,995. Thankfully, that one did not get a 32% price increase, but an extra $3,000 still hurts anybody's wallet. And these prices are, of course, all pre-sales tax if you happen to live in a state with sales tax. This market shift is really going to hit folks looking to buy new cameras in the United States. Blackmagic's statement on these increases read, and I quote, "We wanted to post a quick note on USA prices and the new government tariff changes. Most products in the USA have increased, and please check our website for details. DaVinci Resolve and Blackmagic Cloud prices remain the same. It's also worth noting that price increases only affect the US, and prices in other countries are currently unchanged. Blackmagic Design team." So it's worth noting that as of this video, these new prices only appear on Blackmagic's website, not on Adorama or B&H, so it's unclear how fast these price changes might bleed over into third-party retailers, or if companies like B&H and Adorama are actually going to put the same markups on the products as the original retailer, or if they're going to suffer a severe loss in revenues or figure out something else. But my guess is they will have to update their pricing to reflect what Blackmagic is charging. Exactly how other camera and lens manufacturers respond and what price increases are going to occur isn't 100% clear yet. But SonyAlphaRumors.com put together a really interesting and detailed projection chart of different cameras based on where their manufacturers are and what the tariffs of those countries are and what they think that the prices could end up being. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description because I don't want to get too heavily into the weeds here of individual cameras and prices, but it's very likely that most cameras and lenses could see at least a 24% price increase, potentially being closer to 34% and in some cases even higher. F-Stoppers also did an overview of tariff percentages by camera companies that I want to dive a little bit into. Canon manufactures primarily in Japan and Taiwan with a 24% and 32% tariff respectively. Nikon manufactures in Thailand with a 36% tariff, as well as Japan with a 24% tariff. Sony also operates in Thailand and Japan. Fujifilm operates in China with a 34% tariff, as well as in Japan. And Olympus is hit the hardest, operating mainly out of Vietnam, suffering a 46% tariff rate. Panasonic manufactures primarily in Japan, with Lumix cameras being primarily manufactured in China. Obviously, this is a lot of numbers and statistics, and it gets complicated. And I am not a tariff expert, so I'm not even going to try and figure out exactly where this puts all the numbers and how exactly it's going to play out. other than that it's very likely that, again, at the minimum, most camera brands are probably going to see at least a 24% increase in prices in the United States, which will very likely be passed on from the manufacturers to the retailers to the customers. The vast majority of lens manufacturers are based in Japan, with Samyang, Taipak, DZO, and Viltrox being outliers. Samyang, also known as Rokinon, is based in Vietnam, and the rest are based in China with its 34% tariff rate. For me, this timing is unfortunate as I'm working on 2 videos about the Taipak Ursa C lenses, and their relative affordability, that was one of the things that was appealing to me, unfortunately is not going to be as relevant as it was when I bought them for other consumers who might be interested. Now, of course, other than Blackmagic, who has given us their hard numbers, this is all speculation based on general tariff rates. Companies could choose to tighten their profit margins to try and keep their cameras competitive in the US marketplace. There's also the possibility that given how absolutely unpopular these tariffs are and how much they've upset the stock market, that there's going to be intense negotiations between the US, Japan, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and other manufacturing countries to end the trade war, and prices will return to normal or much closer to normal. And the last wild card here is what third-party retailers are going to do exactly. Like B&H, Adorama, and Amazon, are they just going to match the manufacturers? Or are they going to try something interesting like B&H has done with sales tax with their Paybu card, where you get an instant cash back of the amount of the sales tax? But with the scale of the tariffs, with just how much they are between 24 and 40%, I think it would be really difficult for these third-party companies to figure out how to eat all that cost. So where does that leave us in 2025, assuming that these tariffs do materialize how it looks like they're going to? We've really only got 3 options. One is pay through the nose for new gear from manufacturers, just suck it up and pay that 32% cost increase for the Blackmagic Pyxis 12K, or whatever the tariff rates end up being for Sony, Canon, Fuji, Nikon, and Panasonic. Personally, at least through 2025, and maybe longer if this trade war drags on, that's not going to be what I'm going to do. Option number 2 is to buy used gear from within the United States, as tariffs on goods from eBay shipped from outside the United States, tariffs are also going to apply. eBay itself isn't going to be adding them on, but individual sellers are going to have to handle this, so things could vary from seller to seller and get messy and complicated if US buyers are buying products sold outside the United States in tariffed countries. But getting used gear from within the United States is going to become a really big and vibrant market for videographers and photographers, I think. I've already been really into used cameras. Other than the Ursa C lenses, I've been getting pretty much all used stuff for the last year or so. Even tariffs aside, do not sleep on used gear, because you can do a lot with used gear. And of course, the last, and depending on what your gear setup is, possibly the best option is just to take a year or 2 and don't buy any new gear. Just kind of wait and let's see how things shake out. Use the gear that you have, and don't be dropping hundreds or thousands of extra dollars because of these tariffs. Honestly, this is a pretty crazy situation, so definitely let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about all this, what you think is going to happen. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, hit that thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next one.